My name's Nathan, and I started attending West Coast about a year ago. I serve on coffee and video production team. Something that many people might not know about me is that I'm a pediatric cancer survivor. My battle with cancer really reformed my faith and showed me how deeply I can trust in God. It really strengthened my relationship with Jesus. Before I was diagnosed with cancer, I sort of felt like my life was all together, on paper at least. I was the captain of my high school cross-country team. I was the concertmaster of my orchestra. I was taking AP classes and doing really well in them. So yeah, I felt like I didn't really, need God in the forefront of my life necessarily because I had everything under control. Honestly, my biggest challenges were just managing time with all those things that I just mentioned and, spending time with Fern, who I was dating at the time. But the night before I started my chemotherapy, a lot of family friends came over to our house and they all gathered in my dining room and they all just put their hands on me and prayed for me. And I think that was sort of the first time that I really felt overcome with the Holy Spirit. From that point on, I just felt this sense of peace, knowing that, I have an all-powerful God working for me, working on my side, working to protect me. Not to mention, obviously the support of the church and my family and friends. But yeah, I just never really felt like I was gonna die, even though, there was obviously a chance. But really, I just, peace that surpasses understanding. That's really how I felt. And another situation where God really prevailed and, overcame a challenge that I couldn't or that science couldn't. There was a night where I was laying in bed, I had a fever. Since I had a port, something inserted in my chest that led into my heart, if I ever got a fever, I'd have to go into the hospital. And a lot of times that turned into multiple day stays. And I was just praying and praying and praying that it was gonna come down. Fern was there with me. It wasn't, it kept climbing. And then we just all of a sudden just started singing Waymaker. We were just sitting there singing Waymaker. And then 5 minutes later, I took my temperature and it was down back to normal. With having cancer, there were a lot of struggles day to day, and there was a lot of times within treatment where I was grouchy, I felt like trash, I didn't necessarily want to go to school, I didn't want to talk to anyone, and through all of that, I tried to smile and kind of put on a facade because I wanted to be that positive, cheery guy, but even when I wasn't, the people around me gave me a lot of grace and understanding, knowing that I was going through a lot. And for me, it was obvious that I was in chemotherapy. It was obvious that I was battling cancer, and so I got a lot of grace for those things. But we oftentimes don't see what people are going through. There's more than meets the eye with every single individual. So with serving at church, I try to take that mindset with me where when I'm serving on the coffee team, I don't know what happened the night before. I don't know what even happened that morning. But I just want to smile and make sure that every single person feels welcome and loved, because I know that when I was going through my hard stuff, that's how I felt. I am an echocardiographer at Tacoma General Hospital. Actually, where we're filming right now is on a parking garage there. So that means that I do ultrasounds on the heart, but working at a hospital, only working with inpatients, it's people that are sick, like I was when I was battling. Some of them know that they don't have much longer. Some of them know that they might not make it out of their struggle. It's a space where I have to be professional, but if I can tell that the person is willing to talk about it, I'm more than happy to pray over them. And I love being able to give my own testimony about what God has done in my life and how I got to the point that I am through God's grace. And I think that it provides a lot of comfort for people, seeing someone who, spent weeks on end in the hospital and is now seemingly healthy and, turning around and kind of making a difference in the community. I would say to anyone that's going through any kind of health scare or difficult times in general, just keep on fighting. More than likely won't make sense in the moment. I know when I was diagnosed, I didn't see any reason for why God would allow me to face this challenge, but it will make sense. God's timing is perfect. His plan is perfect. Once I understood that, that's when I kind of let go and I felt that peace. And also another thing that I think is helpful is, like I said earlier, I would kind of smile through the pain oftentimes. And sometimes just smiling will create a real smile. If you fake a smile, it'll turn into a real smile and people will see the joy that's coming out of you that you shouldn't have, but you do because of God.